One quick stop here because maybe you want to take a picture with all this landscape of Barcelona. You can see the Jewish mountain Montjuïc, and then you can see Sagrada Familia. One day, Sagrada Familia will become the tallest church in the world. When they finish with the tower, where you see the crane, they will finish with the Tower of Jesus Christ, and then it will become so. Why so tall? Would Gaudí want to be in the World Guinness Book of Records? No, he was there not thinking about this. He thought the mountain, God's construction, is 173 meters high. So he said, my church will be 172.5. Not as tall as the mountain. I'm not trying to say I'm better than God, but, you know, imitating God. And then it makes balance in the city, more or less. That's the reason of the height of the church. Then you can see here the inferior aqueduct. This wall is called the inferior aqueduct. With this canal you can see here. It's not like a cool Roman aqueduct, but the idea is this, and that's why they would call it like this. But in this wall, we can see very well what we mean when we say Gaudí's architecture is organic. He tries to bend the architectonical elements together with nature, so we feel it's part of the same thing. And he would use stone that was here in the mountain. Actually, this mountain was called the Bald Mountain. It's not called like this anymore. Now we call it Park Güell. But the area that Mr. Güell bought, the Bald Mountain, because there was almost no nature. There was a lot of rock. But then they started planting all these trees. So there is a design in all the gardens and all the park. That's why we have a lot of variety and many palm trees, pine trees, olive trees, agave, broomflower, Mediterranean plants. Àlex,
Hola.
ens dones accés?
Sí, quants en portes?
En porto 17.
Vale, doncs endavant.
Què t'ha dit? Què ha passat?
Saps, noia, tu.
Ai, ja comença a fer calor. Somebody fainted. Now we start with the hot...
Yeah.
I'm missing people, I feel. No, maybe not.
Cool this morning.
It's cool. This morning it was a little nicer, yeah. No, yeah, I know. Welcome to the square in this garden city. It looks like a Greek theater because the idea was to do theater, music, poetry recitals, which were very trendy in those times. The bench is wavy, not round, wavy, because then you sit in the wave with your friends and family, and it creates, for example, there you can see a very pronounced one. It creates little areas where you can talk to your friends and family while you watch the show, like a bar. All the bench filled with these broken tiles, plates, bottle bottoms, coffee cups. See the plates there. So very, very interesting, no? Because they actually had to reuse all those pieces to decorate this bench. They would go to factories of tiles and ask for broken pieces. They would go to shops and ask for broken tiles as well. They would ask the workers to bring from their houses something original they had that they wanted to throw away. No, nothing is thrown away here. They said, bring it here and we'll see. If they found a house in demolition, they would say, let's go and see if we can collect something as well. And then they reused all of this. But Gaudí had a lot of work, so he couldn't do everything. In this case, he asked another artist to design the bench. So the design we see here had been, well, Gaudí decided there would be this kind of mosaic, and he supervised everything. But the design is from an artist called Jujol. His name was Jujol. Now, we're going to cross to the other side. Later, if you want, you can go back up and you can walk more around here. You can take pictures of the bench with the city on your back. But now we need to go there and sit down in the bench and see the ergonomy. This reddish house here was the house of Güell, the man who paid for everything. He had the biggest house, of course. There was a countryside house here, and then they changed all of that and built this house. Now, this bench. The idea in the bench is not to try to stand straight because we would break our back. We have to lay on the bench, okay? You have to let the relief fit perfectly the curve of your back. See, they did this with the real back of a worker. If you lean forward to see the show, your buttocks slides back, and then these bumps stop you from getting stuck in the bench forever or not having a good shape. Huh? So these stop you when you go back on your buttocks. Okay, I don't know how to explain this. This is very difficult for me. But you understand, huh? The bumps are so people don't get stuck. And the bench is inclined, and that's why we need the bumps, because when it rains, the water will go inside of the holes and flow through the canals, and then there are some gargoyles, and the water will go down and be reused. Everything is reused here. Well, a system to save the water of the rain. Here in the floor, we have water as well, sand as well, because when it rains, the water filters through the sand, and it can be reused also. Now, from here, you can see this house, the house of Güell, the house of Gaudí, over there, up there in the hill, the house of Trias. Trias was the richest lawyer in Barcelona, I can say that, a very wealthy family. They wanted the house here as well. They had that one. The problem is, though, that that's it. There are only 3 houses in the park. They were going to build 60, but they only ever built 3. Güell, the sponsor, the architects, and their lawyers. So we say that Park Güell was actually a big failure. It was a failed project. They were going to make it work. They were trying to push people to come and live here and buy the land and build their house, but they were not interested. So only they could convince their lawyer to come live here. From that beautiful wall up, we just have forest, and forest. 16 hectares of land ready for 60 homes, but only 3. Why was this such a failure? Why were the bourgeois not interested in living here? We will see that later. See, now we will walk around this failed project a little bit more, and we'll see if it what happened here. Huh? Now come with me. So you mean, Marta, that today we're not going to be able to see anything but what we see with you? Vale? More or less. Because from that up, there's just a lot of stairways, some corridors, and not much else. See, this is the architectonical area. It started there where we went downstairs or here, and it will finish where, more or less, where we finish our tour. See, the architectonical area is what is World Heritage by UNESCO, what is protected, the place where you cannot bring dogs or animals, the place where you cannot play soccer, because you can imagine kids here, they used to play football a lot, but not anymore because it became World Heritage. Now, we're going to see that corridor. So you go down the first stairway only, and then to the right. Only the first stairway, and meet me here. A quick stop here. We need to talk about this lady. The Güell family were so wealthy, they had a lot of service living with them. And there was a washerwoman who worked there. And one of the construction workers who worked here for Gaudí, he fell in love with that woman. And then he talked to Gaudí, and they decided they would do for her this sculpture. This is the story of the washerwoman. Then every time she would look through the window, she would see herself here, and maybe someday she would like this guy back. See, and you can see she has a basket of clothes in her head. And she was probably very pretty, I don't know. Now, all this corridor is honoring her. It's called the corridor of the washerwoman. If you want, you can walk with me and we'll see it all. Good thing is to walk inside, because then you will see how it looks like. But I walk outside because I don't want to be in all the pictures. But if you want, you can walk inside. Also, it's cooler. If it's too hot for you guys, you can go inside and you will see how cool it is inside of the corridor. ¿Tenéis calor? No? Vale. There is reinforced concrete, reinforced concrete inside of these columns, and they are inclined because then they're falling onwards and they are making strength onwards, and then they are stronger to hold the ceiling because of their own weight going onwards. Gaudí said he was using gravity, so in his mind, God's creation. See, also when he does an arch, he wants to use the most natural arch, the arch that is based on gravity because it's a chain. Imagine you take a chain and you do it like this. The arch that it creates, whether it's wider or thinner, it's the arch that Gaudí wanted to use. It's called the catenaria arch. So that's what we find in his arches. All Sagrada Familia is based on that arch as well. And then external columns normally will be inclined. And then we have to go together inside of the corridor.
So sorry.
Thank you. No, I will drink it now. Now, we make a stop here to see the waves. Como las olas del mar, ¿no? Un poquito. Un poquito. So the stone has been smoothed here. So it looks like it kind of looks like waves. But the reinforced steel is all decorated with stones, so it is more natural. Gaudí said, when a building has what it needs with only the resources available, it will have more character or dignity, which is the same thing. These are his words. See, normally I'm not that corny. It's just Gaudí saying that. Huh? So he meant stone everywhere. And for example, in Sagrada Familia, he said only stone. And now we don't have any more stone in this city. Maybe because of that. Huh? They were taking stones from the Montjuic mountain, the one we already talked about. And then in 1956, they closed the last quarry in Montjuic. So now for Sagrada Familia, another big issue and another big reason of why it's not finished yet is the stone. It's hard for them to find stones similar to the ones that were in Montjuic. So right now they take a lot of stone from Ireland, for example, from Galicia, an autonomous community which is very far. It's at the other end of Spain. See, in the northwest. In the northwest. Looks like I'm talking about the Kardashians. Huh? Now, we will go here, make a quick stop to see the patio of the Güell family. Alga rumbero. Traditional Catalan song. The song talks about a cat who likes rumba. Dancing this rumba. Eh?
That's awesome.
He says people throw coins at my hut, and then something like that. Okay, whatever. You can see here all the grandchildren of Mr. Güell. Huh?
These are all the grandchildren.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? He had 10 children. But actually, these are not his grandsons or daughters. Actually, this is because it's a school now. It's a public school because the sons of Güell, that was true, he had 10 children. The sons of Güell, they decided that they had no idea what to do with this. When they finished the constructions in 1914, they would still live here. In the 18, their father would die, Mr. Güell. And then in the 22, they donated all this to the city hall. And then it became a public park. And the city hall decided that would become a school.
Oh, it's a public school and public park.
Yes.
Both.
Yes. And then why do we pay to go in if it's public? No?
Right.
Because there was so many people visiting. It used to be for free.
When was it for free?
Before 2014.
Oh.
Okay.
In 2014, they realized that they had to close the doors. It was overcrowded. There was a lot of people, homeless people, living here. You can imagine. Very nice for them, no? Drinking in the middle of the path. I don't know. Now if some homeless people are local from Barcelona, they can also come here, see? But turns out that there are not so many people who decide to come here. Also people having parties in the forest, leaving garbage, a lot of maintenance required. So the city hall decided to close the doors in 2014. And then they ask people to pay, so they don't have more expenses. Now they have benefits from this park, and they also can control how many people step in this, which is World Heritage, so it's not so crowded as it used to be, and it's noticeable.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna continue. We will go down that path, that ramp over there. Here. For example, I don't agree with the fact the ticket is so expensive because they wouldn't have to, no? But I understand they had to close the doors. It makes a lot of sense. This January, they just made it double the price that it used to be this January. So, well. But actually, people who are registered as citizens of Barcelona, they can enter for free in the park. See, if you are from the neighborhood, you will receive to your normal post, the card. And if you are not from this neighborhood, it's called the La Salud neighborhood. If you're not from here, but you are registered in Barcelona, you can get an appointment in the city hall, and they will do for you that card as well. And with that, you can enter anytime. And if you are a resident of Spain, you can do another card called Gaudí Plus, Gaudí Mes, and with that Gaudí Mes, you can enter for free in the park twice per year.